Hi, my name is Yasu, and I live in Japan. And right now, I'm visiting Osaka. I just went to Expo Osaka, and then I highly recommend people to actually go there. It's actually fascinating, amazing. So today, I want to share my experience, talking about the updates on my situation with my withdrawal symptoms after I stopped taking Effexor completely for 3 months. Basically, the conclusion is finally, I think my situation, my condition got stabilized, and I can started to seeing how I will actually get better and then better from this point. And basically, most of the times, I feel I'm getting more comfortable with um, my. It sounds kind of funny, but my brain, and it helps me to acknowledge that I am recovering. Like my brain is getting really used to everything without taking effectors, which is something that I've been waiting for because that this is exactly what I found as the cue that I'm getting better when I was reducing the effectors. Because when I was reducing the effectors, every time I reduced the amount of venlafaxine effexor, withdrawal symptom hit me, and it was very uncomfortable. There's a lot of withdrawal symptoms, but eventually my body got used to it, and then I could sleep better. I don't. I didn't feel like I was treating the depressions and so on. So when I decided to stop taking the Effexor completely after I finished tapering off Effexor by taking 1 year, initially initial sign that my brain got used to it, my brain really will get used to it, is this feeling. Like I feel more grounded, I feel more centered, and I can feel more myself. I feel more comfortable. And of course, I sleep better and more longer. But this time it took, my body really took, my brain and body took 3 months to get here, which is much, much longer than I originally anticipated. And it really caught me off guard. So I was very suffering. I was really, really suffering from withdrawal symptoms. And then this is something that I really don't want people to go through. And it's something that I wish I knew that this would actually take that long. And a real battle really begins once we stop taking the antidepressant, which is something very contradicting, or like, it sounds weird, but I think that's why the relapse rate for those people who take antidepressant and they finish taking it, but unfortunately they would start taking antidepressant again. I think the relapse rate is like 50% in the first half a year, first year, and then when people follow the patients for 2 years, then I think the relapse rate is 80% or so. I might be wrong, so definitely I'm gonna check the data later after finish taking this video. But I remember the relapse rate for those people who take antidepressant is actually very high, and I understand why that's the case. So getting into the third month after I finished taking the Effexor, finally I started to sleeping longer and then better, like 7 hours and 30 minutes, or like roughly speaking, over 8 hours. But what surprised me is that even I started to sleeping longer and better, it didn't really make me feel comfortable right away. So even I slept longer and better, but when I woke up, uh, right away I could feel the tinnitus, like the high pitched hearing in my ears, head pressure, headache, and so on. So I felt very uncomfortable right after I woke up, even though the Aura ring said that you got the wonderful sleep, your sleeping score is amazing, and it really got me confused. And it was like that for a week, a little bit over like 10 days or so. And then I got more confused because I slept better. My ring said that, and then I know that I sleep better, yet whenever I wake up, whenever I woke up, I just didn't feel comfortable, like high pitched noises, head pressure, and then I got so confused. Then I realized that I make a little notes every day about how I feel, and then those kind of symptoms in the last almost 2 years, ever since I started to take in the Effexor. And I noticed that what I was going through in the third month is actually a lot less severe compared to the second month or the first month after I finished taking the Effexor. So when I was reading it, it really shows that I am actually getting better. Then I realized that my consciousness really focusing on everything that makes me feel uncomfortable. But if I step down a little bit, I was actually getting better. And then the third week and then the last week of the third month, I continue to sleep better. And then I had more days that I felt comfortable and feeling better and much more energy when I woke up. So I can really say now is that I think the worst, how do I say, like the the most difficult stage of not taking Effexor completely can be behind me. I'm not sure, but I can feel that would be the case. I have to be very careful though. And but I think in some way, in many ways, I'm very sensitive to little things in my conditions. So whenever I woke up, if I felt better, that's a good sign. Next day, when I woke up, I felt better. It's really a good sign. It really gives me encouragements, and it really made me feel like I'm going toward right direction. But if there is a day that I woke up and I felt like tinnitus and like head pressures and it didn't feel comfortable, and it got me worried. And if next day I felt better, then that helped me to feel a little bit more confident. But if I didn't feel better consecutively, then it kind of made me feel like doubt, make me feel doubt about, am I really getting better or not? Which is not healthy for my psychological conditions. Yet that's how much I am scared to kind of like make sure if I'm on the right path or not, because the withdrawal symptoms, everything that I've been dealing with in the last 3 months, it was just way too much. I was this close to considering taking the bridge medications, which is another antidepressant to ease the withdrawal symptoms from not taking Effexor anymore. And it might be suitable for, in many cases probably, and for some people probably that way should be considered. However, when that was offered to me by my doctor, I felt okay. Now you're asking me to consider taking another depressant to deal with the withdrawal symptoms from the Effexor. But what if? And that means I need to go through tapering situations with these bridge medications eventually. And what if once I get to the stage that I stop taking it completely, do I have to go through this uncomfortable situation again with that new medications? It was a very tough situations. That time really made me feel that, am I that addictive to the Effexor? And one way or another, my brain and my body really depended on the Effexor. But that really shows that helped me to get through all of the tough time in the last 2 years. But also that really made me feel like, so in order for me to function, I just simply need to continue to taking the medications for the rest of the lives. Luckily, in my case, before I agreed to my doctor about taking the bridge medications, finally, visual symptoms become less severe. So as long as I continue, or I can keep my condition as is right now, or keep getting better and better, I wouldn't need the bridge medication. But if the third month was quite similar as the second month, then I would definitely start taking the bridge medication, because it was just simply horrible to go through that much severe withdrawal symptoms. It's just unbearable. It's just too long, basically. And then what I realized is that a lot of like materials regarding stop taking how to stop taking antidepressants. It's a very textbook information, and only people who go through it know exactly how hard and how long it would actually take, and how careful we have to be. So now I see why people are afraid, and then people warn me if I decided to take the antidepressant. But this is like cost benefit kind of the discussion needs to happen anyway, because I cannot ignore the fact that Effexor really helped me to get through the darkest time and the toughest time in my life. But at the same time, getting off from the medication, it's just so uncomfortable. It's just so hard. I never imagined, and nobody actually told me, or like any kind of available information actually specifically indicate that it would probably take a few months for me to feel myself after I stopped taking it completely. And all those kind of the answers that we can find online, it's just so textbook information. And all of our bodies are different and unique to each other. So how we would actually respond to the state that we don't take anymore vary dramatically, and how to approach those withdrawal symptoms and everything must be tailor-made. And in my case, I was really fixated on my sleep, and then probably that approach was the right one. However, the last thing that really helped me in the tough time, the confusing situations, because my biometric data says that I'm sleeping better, getting better, but initially I didn't feel that way, is I been keeping my journal every day, and then I actually periodically let my AI to eat that data, and then I keep asking my AI that what is my conditions compared to the last 7 days, or like the last month, or like 6 months ago, or like a year ago. And then it gave me a lot of informations. Of course, the chat GPT says that, oh, I'm not psychiatrist, I'm not like medical experts, but this is what you wrote a month ago, 2 months ago, and then this is what you wrote about your previous 7 days, and based on that, this is a change, or it didn't really change anything. And having that kind of informations, giving the third party telling me that, oh, this is more like the objective information, but that's written by you, which is me, really helps me to keep going. To believe myself, and probably believe in the AI that I am getting better. And then now I can feel and see that I am really getting better. But even getting into the third month, the first 1 week or two, everything is just that I'm getting better, yet I just didn't feel comfortable with my brain or everything. It was the toughest, confusing time ever that I just didn't know what to believe in. I'm not really saying that AI really helped me, but I think what I want to address here is that when we are imbalanced because we stop taking something, our brain and our bodies would actually take longer time to get used to it. And then because our brains are unstable condition, in a very not in a stable condition, our perception is highly influenced. It's very hard for us to see what is going on objectively, and then lead us to focusing on something that is negative or uncomfortable part, even though as a whole it's getting better. And in my case, my journal helped me. And in my case, I couldn't really have the cognitive ability to just read everything. It just, I happened to just keep letting my AI to eat and then review it. That habit really helped me the last stage of the difficult part of the stop taking the Effexor. I might be wrong because it's just only the third month anyway. I will closely monitor what's going to happen to me. But based on how I have been dealing with it, which I will continue go to sleep like around 10:30. I will not drink. I don't drink anymore. I stick with I only drink 2 cups of coffee. One thing I forgot to mention, I always take time to do the meditations before I go to bed. And I found it very useful to kind of like the monitor about my conditions. And then I don't really socialize anymore, and I will continue to not to socialize because it just requires so much power, my cognitive powers and everything, and it makes me feel so tired. But I will keep sticking with my lifestyle in a way that I've been doing in the last 2 years, and hopefully it should be okay. But again, it's just simply so hard and very uncomfortable. So I really don't want you to go through the same thing. So please don't push yourself. Stay away from those stress things, and anything that you don't like to do, just stay away from it, because we are alive, live in this world to enjoy our lives, not to suffer from life. And if you lose your health, you don't get to do that. So please don't push yourself. So thank you for watching. So please take care. Jane, bye bye.